Hello people, time for a quick 5.4 update with the new changes to Archimondes Vengeance, Soul Swap and some Affliction changes. Now it was rumored that Archimondes Vengeance would be redesigned, and what they did now is to make it so that every time you and your pet takes damage, you gain 1% of the unmitigated damage back as spell power for 20 seconds. So let's say you take a 250,000 damage spell from an encounter, you get 2,500 spell power back. Neat talent, especially for Demonology that lacks the use of Kil'jaeden's Cunning, but maybe not the best for Affliction on movement fights where we need Kil'jaeden's Cunning, and it will be hard to value them against each other. Now the other big change is Soul Swap got reworked once again. Now it doesn't do any damage but copies damage over time effects without the glyph. It copies the dots with their power and duration, but it has been reduced to 6 seconds use instead of 20 seconds. It has no cooldown, so right now you can copy your dots from one target to unlimited targets, but they keep the duration currently left. So as you can see, eventually you might end up copying 5-second dots instead of 16-second dots, and therefore won't be worth the global cooldown. Now this is to avoid the Affliction bug where you can keep rolling the dots with all the procs, but right now you can copy your proc dots to 4 targets pretty easily, which seems pretty powerful for some fights. Interesting change to Soul Swap. I'm sure they might change it again though, as they might find ways it's too powerful because the dots still keep the full power of procs. Interesting would be to see what the new Soul Swap glyph will be, as they said they would redesign it. Now rest of the Affliction changes is that Agony will deal 5% more damage and Unstable Affliction 10% more damage. But they also nerfed Drain Soul and reduced the damage by 40% from Drain Soul itself, and the dots it trigger on ticks went down to 60% of their damage instead of 100%. Haunt deals 50% more damage and increases damage done by all other spells against the target by 45%, so a little buff here to make up for the Drain Soul and the Malefic Grasp nerf. Because Malefic Grasp got nerfed by 40% less damage on the Malefic Grasp ticks itself, and the dots that tick causes 30% damage down from 50% of their periodic damage. Now Corruption has a 7% chance to proc Nightfall for an extra shot, only from the first Corruption applied. This is a huge nerf to multi-dotting and Soulburn Soul Swap machine gun tactic, where you end up regenerating massive shots from all your corruption taking. It will also nerf some AoE scenarios. Overall it's hard to say how this will affect Affliction. It looks a bit like a little nerf with the Malefic Grasp and Drain Soul, but the Haunt buff is quite good with the dot buffs as well. Better multi-dotting damage since we don't use Malefic Grasp or Drain Soul there, excluding the fact Nightfall only procs from one corruption. Now moving damage away from Malefic Grasp is always much appreciated, at least. Last they mentioned they will redesign Glyph of Everlasting Affliction and Soul Swap. Now the Everlasting Affliction redesign instantly comes to mind with the fact we can roll 100% crit dooms for so long. It might mean they won't touch the Lycan trinket and simply just remove the use of the Everlasting Affliction glyph and simply just remove the use we have with Everlasting Affliction glyphs on multi-target fights. It hurts single target as well, but especially on multi-target fights it's so overpowered when we run 4 dooms with 100% crit for so long. It will be some interesting weeks going forward, seeing how they want to fine-tune us and if or how bad they will nerf Demonology. Now thanks again for watching as always, and see you until next time.